Welcome back, guys, to another video. I honestly keep changing my setup every time because I just don't know how to set it up. Right now, you're on my phone in my office, as you can see, but I don't know how to set it up sometimes. But since this is just the intro, it doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm not going to be filming in here the whole time, so it's fine. Today, as you can see, it's a very important special video and I'm really excited, and I didn't even get the books out. Okay, so I've actually got the books out now, but you can see the title, so it doesn't really matter. I will be reading the ACOTAR series. These are upside down. It's not just the ACOTAR series. I'm really excited to read this. Now, I read the first book. This is going to be full spoilers, by the way, so if you don't want to know, I would not suggest reading this video. I read the first book. Thoughts about the first book. I rated it 4 stars. I liked it, but I wasn't, I might even say 4 stars, but it was a bit too ambitious. Thoughts about the book. This is going to be full spoiler, by the way, so if you don't want to know about that, then skip this video. But my thoughts about the first book is I rated it 4 stars. I think I would actually go back now and maybe rate it 3, but I'll just leave that at 4. And anyway, I liked it, but the one thing I didn't really like is this series is very famous for being a romantic series. I personally did not like the romance of this book. I did not like Tamlin and Feyre together. I just didn't feel the connection between them, like, at all. I didn't feel the connection, like, whatsoever between them. And I don't really like Tamlin. He's just a bit plain for me. He's just a bit vanilla. And so, yeah, I knew the characters' names before because they were all over TikTok. I knew there was Tamlin, there was Feyre, and there was Rysand. Now, I didn't know if this was a love triangle when I first started the series. Is my camera? I didn't know if this was a love triangle when I first started the series. Sorry if this piece of paper is annoying you. It's annoying me as well. Taking that off. I didn't know if this was a love triangle when I first started the series. All I knew is that there was a romance between Tamlin and Feyre. And when I started the book, I was very, disappointed because I just didn't like the romance. And I thought, so this is going to be the romance the whole way through between Tamlin. It's going to just be between Tamlin and Feyre, because this series is known for being a romantasy series. The main reason I was reading this was for the romantasy, and I don't even like the couple in the actual romantasy. So I was a bit disappointed, and I was like, I was even halfway through the book while I was reading it, I was debating if I should even carry on with the series, because I thought, if this is going to be the romance the whole way through, if this is going to be the romance between Tamlin and Feyre the whole way through, I don't know if I'm going to like this, because I don't really like their romance. And this is a romantasy series. So I was like, maybe I should just not read the other books. But then Rysand popped up. Rysand popped up. And I was like, wait a sec. Confusion, what's going on here? And I was very confused, and I was like, I feel a little something between them. Do you get what I mean? I kind of felt the same way that I felt when I was watching The Vampire Diaries, and obviously the first episode, Stefan and Elena, and you're like, oh, okay, so this is going to be the romance. And I was always like, well, a bit plain, don't really like Stefan, it's a bit vanilla. And then Damon shows up and he's like, hello, brother. And I'm like, yes, that's him. That's what I was looking for in Stefan. That's what I ship. That's what I've been waiting for this whole first episode. That's when I felt when Rysand popped up for the first time. I was like, him. That's what I want. That's what I want from Tamlin. And then when she was doing the trials, obviously, and Rysand put that thing on her arm, the eye, and when he was helping her through the trials, and then when she got hurt and he was like, Feyre, and really worried about her, I was like, and then the deal that they made of you have to spend 1 week at his house at the court of night for every year, until you die or something. I'm like, that can't just be nothing. That can't just be like, oh, that can't just mean nothing. That has to mean something. Something has to come out of her going to his house by herself for a week. Like, am I wrong? So then once I figured that out, and I was like, maybe, just maybe, there's a little love triangle in this. No one's ever talked about anything to do with a love triangle, so I'm very surprised. I was actually very surprised reading the book. I'm like, wait, no one said anything about a love triangle, so then what the heck's going on? I was very surprised. And so yeah, that's when I decided, maybe I will read the next few books just to see what happens between Feyre and Rhysand. That's honestly just what I want to know. I want to know what happens between Feyre and Rhysand. And then, of course, Destiny did a video where she reread the series, and made a spoiler vlog on it. And I was like, oh my god, I want to watch the video so bad, but I haven't read the rest of the series. So I was like, I need to read this soon. And recently, Larry just uploaded a video as well, reading the series for the first time. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to read it. I have to. So yeah, I'm going to be reading this series and these books. And I'm really excited. I'm going to start with A Court of Mist and Fury because I've already read A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I've read the summary of that, so I don't necessarily want to read that again. So I want to go straight in A Court of Mist and Furies. And then it says here, at the back, Feyre is immortal. She has rescued her lover Tamlin from the sadistic fairy queen and now possesses fey powers beyond imagining. Whatever. But Feyre cannot forget the destruction she wrought to save her beloved, nor the bargain she made with Rhysand, High Lord of the feared Night Court. As Feyre is drawn ever deeper into Rhysand's world, she senses a dark pain in his heart that echoes her own. For good or ill, Feyre must embrace the changes within her. War is looming, and only the full night of her new powers can save the people she loves. Okay, this is definitely the start of her and Rhysand's love story, because like Feyre is drawn ever deeper into Rhysand's world. Yeah, definitely excited to read this book. These books are massive, which is the reason why I haven't read them yet. They're just very intimidating. But yeah, can't wait to read them. And then I think we have A Court of Wings and Ruin, which again, massive. I love these covers, by the way. And then these two are actually a gift that my boyfriend got me for Valentine's Day, so thank you. And then it's, I think, A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is the novella, and then A Court of Silver Flames, which I know is Nesta's book, which is Feyre's sister. And it also is the longest book in the whole series. Now, I'm going to read the series. I also have I've got Assassin's Blade and I've got Throne of Glass. So I've got the first two books in the series of Throne of Glass. So I'm going to read The Court of Thorns and Roses. Then I'm going to read Throne of Glass at some point. And then I'm going to try and read Crescent City. I think Crescent City, the books are like her biggest book that she's ever like written. So yeah, but I do want to get into the whole universe because I know that all the books are apparently connected. Like The Court of Thorns and Roses is connected. And Throne of Glass, I think, is a little bit connected as well. And I know that there's more A Court of Thorns and Roses books coming out. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, have to read that, obviously. So yeah, I'm really excited. I don't have that much time to read, but I will start reading A Court of Mist and Fury. I don't have that much time because I do have stuff to do today, so I can't be reading all day, but I do want to at least start it. I might download it on my Kindle at some point because this book is huge and the font is really, really small in this book actually, so I will be probably downloading it on my Kindle as well, but I'm going to try to get a good little way into this book. So yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait to start the series. And yeah, this is part of a new series of Reading Famous 2023 TikTok series or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this. So just let's get into this vlog and I'll stop talking. Excuse me? What have I just read? It's been where is it? It had been 2 months since Tamlin had proposed. What? That did not just happen. Proposed? Really? I don't even know what to say. I do have to get some things done though. So I might listen to the book on audiobook for a little while I get those things done. But yeah, just had to put that out there because I was like, okay, what? So update time. Oops. I'm currently on chapter 5. I've been reading it on audiobook, loving the audiobook. The audiobook has actually been really catching up my attention. I don't know if I'm going to continue to read it on audiobook, but what I'm trying to say is I've never read a book on audiobook, like, at all. Not really. I read one whilst I was on holiday, and that's it. And I wasn't really paying attention to that book either. I just didn't really like the book. But truly, like, actually paying attention to the book while listening to it, I've never done that. I don't know why. It hasn't been my thing. Like, the same thing with Kindle. You guys know that I'm not a Kindle. I have been more lately, but in the past, as in when I first started reading, I was not a Kindle girly. I was not an audiobook girly at all. My thing was definitely reading books physically. I literally thought, no, I can't read books on the Kindle. I can't read books in audiobooks. I have to read it physically, or else it doesn't feel like I'm reading. But with the Kindle thing, it has changed because I have been reading books on my Kindle a lot, especially if they're this big. And if you know, these books are, I don't mind breaking the spine, by the way, but if you know, these books are so painful to hold, especially if you're in bed and you just want to go and you're just like getting ready for sleep and you're just in bed and you're trying to cozy up and you're laying down. If you're laying down, these books are, if you're standing up or like sitting up, it's fine, but when you're laying down, these books are painful to hold. So I usually do now read it on my Kindle, those type of books, and obviously these are breaks. But also the font is also really small, and I was thinking, I'll just read it on my Kindle. But then I thought, you know what, why not try an audiobook actually? So I've actually been listening to the audiobook of A Court of Mist and Fury, and oh my god, why have I not been doing this the whole time? It's gone by so fast. I'm literally already on chapter 5. To be real with you, if I was reading this on the book, I probably would have not been on chapter 5. I probably would have stopped reading, maybe, I don't know, but I probably wouldn't have been at chapter 5. It just feels so fast paced when you're listening to it on audiobook than when you're reading, and I feel like it makes the story go so fast. Like I'd probably be like, maybe finish chapter 1, maybe past chapter 3 if I read it physically, because I am kind of a slow reader, especially since I'm busy nowadays because of uni and everything. I am kind of a slow reader, but audiobooks, I'm loving it, and I'm now considering maybe either getting a subscription to Audible, or I tried Libby, but for some reason Libby's just not working for me, which is really annoying because I just want an audiobook app where I can listen to audiobooks and don't have to pay like money and stuff. But yeah, I was thinking either Audible or Spotify maybe, because I know Spotify does it, and Spotify is cheaper with the student discount. I think it's like £4 something for the subscription, and I could just like read the books on Spotify. The only thing is that on Spotify you only get 15 hours of listening time. So yeah, you only get 15 hours of listening time. It's not like a full book, whereas on Audible you get a full book. But I don't know. I'll keep trying to use audiobooks and see how much I actually use audiobooks, and if it's worth me getting my own Spotify subscription or Audible subscription. I'll see which one, but I might just go for Spotify because it's just easiest and less expensive than paying $9.99 a month. But I'll see. This is my first audiobook and I'm only on chapter 5, so yeah, I'm on chapter 5 and I'm updating because I've just been here book journaling, doing a bit of journaling and everything while listening to the audiobook, and I'm like in love with it. I feel like I have so much freedom. But Rhysand, I keep calling him Rysand. Rysand has just crashed the wedding. My attention span sort of went a little bit, but Rysand has just crashed the wedding, and yeah, he crashed Tamlin and Feyre's wedding, and he was like, "Hello, darling. Hello, Feyre, darling," or something, and I was like, "Yes, finally." And I can sense where this story is going a bit. From the first chapter, it's felt like Feyre has felt trapped with everything, because basically I feel like this is the reason why people start to not like Tamlin, because it's not that I didn't like him in the first book. In the first book, it's not that I hated him or didn't like him. He, to me, was just boring. It's not that I hated him. He was just boring to me. But in this book, I'm actually starting to not like him at all, because I just don't like his behavior. Basically, he's behaving in this book because she's about to be married to him, and usually, like, it's very traditional. So basically, he's behaving as if she has, like, no free autonomy. Like, she wanted to go visit this village, blah, blah, and it is unsafe because, like, some of Amantha's beasts are still out. So he says, no, you're not allowed to go. You can't go because I need to keep you safe, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, she's now got powers of her own, because she now is a fae as well. And she's like, well, he let me go hunting by myself when I was a human, when everybody was in danger because Martha was still around. Now that Martha's dead and I'm a high fae, now he won't let me leave. And he's like, and then Lucian's like, oh yeah, but that's because he didn't feel for you what he feels now. I'm like, that's such a that's so stupid though. That is so stupid. Like, I feel like she can take care of herself. She could take care of herself back when she was a human against a wolf and everybody. She literally fought a Martha and fought a huge giant worm in a maze when she was human. And now he thinks that she can't take care of herself when she's fair and she's got these powers. Like, what? And apparently she wants to learn how to fight, and everybody is like, oh, why do you need to learn how to fight? Martha's gone and you're now marrying a high lord. What would you need to be able to fight for? Basically, it's feeling very much like just traditional type of marriage that was back in the days, where you got married to the high lord and basically your role now was literally just to be his wife. You're just his wife. You're basically, they're treating her like a housewife, and I don't like that. And it's sort of like, I feel like Tamlin is also sort of treating her like a housewife. I understand he's not like meaning it in that way, because he does care about her in the books and he does love her, but to me it is very much feeling like treating her like a housewifey. And there was like this one point in the book where she was like, what's everybody gonna call me when we like get married? Are they gonna call me High Lady? Because she doesn't want to be called that. But even if she doesn't want to be called that, he said, oh no, we don't have high ladies. And she's like, what do you mean? Well, he's like, well, there's only high lords. When you get married to a high lord, your job is to help the high lord and like help him do stuff and stuff like that. So I forgot the name that they gave it, but he said, so he called it a different name. You're not called High Lady, you're called a different name. And he was like, so you'd never be called a High Lady. You'll never become a High Lady. Like, high ladies don't exist. Your role is to basically be beside the High Lord and stuff like that. And I'm like, really freaking lax, like what? And she's like, she feels very trapped. Like, she just wants to get out of the house, do her own thing, have a little bit of freedom. And he's like, no, we gotta keep you safe. And I'm like, bro, it's feeling very much like. And she was about to walk down the aisle. She was about to get married to him, and I think she started to have like a little bit of a panic attack, because she in the first book she obviously killed fairies. One of the trials was to kill 3 fairies and stuff, and she did it. So she feels very bad about killing obviously those 3 fairies, and she feels like she's got blood on her hands, and she's very she's got nightmares and depression sort of thing. And she just feels very bad. She basically feels like she's not worthy to marry Tamlin. So she didn't say it's because of the way he was treating her, but I feel like maybe deep down it's also that. She said the reason why she was basically about to back out. If Rhysand hadn't walked in there and crashed the wedding before, she would have backed out of the wedding and like runaway bride situation. but she didn't. But the reason for that is because she says she doesn't feel worthy of Tamlin, because everybody's basically praising her because she saved them, which she did. She saved them, and she the curse lifted the curse, and basically she doesn't feel like that. She feels bad because she killed these fairies, and everybody's saying that she's a good person and that they're like her savior, and she's like, I don't feel like I'm a good person. I feel like I'm a horrible person. And she just doesn't feel worthy of Tamlin. And that's why she was about to leave the wedding. And then Rhysand came in. And now I'm very interested, because now I'm guessing he's going to take her back. And they're going to hit it off, because Tamlin is being a little... He's just being very annoying. And yeah, but I'm going to stop for now. At least I'm going to stop for a few minutes, because my boyfriend's on his way back from work, so I was just reading while he was at work. And so yeah, I'm gonna stop reading for now. I'm really loving it so far. I'm loving the audiobook. But yeah, I'm gonna see into that Spotify thing, maybe. We'll see. Hey guys, it's the next day, or I don't know when the last time I filmed was, but I'm currently picking up chapter 5, and Rhysand just took her under the mountain. I'm like loving this. He says, because I'm like wondering, is Rhysand her mate or something? Because they have this bond, but I thought the bond was all to do with the tattoo that she has. The deal that he made with her about spending every week with her, I thought that's what the bond was about. But is she just his mate? But anyway, this quote absolutely killed us. He said, he says, I wanted to say thank you first of all. Then I want you to take off that hideous dress. You look, his mouth cut a cruel line. You look exactly like the doe-eyed damsel he and that simpering priestess want you to be. And then she said, you don't know anything about me or us. Rhys gave me a knowing smile. Does Tamlin, does he ever ask... Jesus Christ, I'm falling there, sorry. Does he ever ask you why you hurl your guts up every night, or why you can't get into certain rooms or see certain colours? I'm like... Yes. It says, you sent everything right down that bond, and I don't appreciate having a front row seat when I'm trying to sleep. I just love Rhysand so much. And he was like, basically, he was like, he says, I heard you begging anyone to rescue you, to get you out. I heard you say no. Basically, because in her head, she was doubting getting married. Like, as she was going, she was like, I don't want to do this. Like, please, someone save me. Anyone save me from this marriage. And then he showed up and saved her and brought her under the mountain. I'm like... loving it. So yeah, I've only literally read one page, really, out of chapter 5, but I'm loving it. This book's just so gigantic. I'm currently reading it right now, but I might put it on audiobook, because this book is literally just huge, and I don't know, audiobook is just, it makes it so much easier to read. So I think I might try and read it, so it's like, it's just less effort. But yeah, guys, I can totally see why everybody hates Tamlin now. He's really getting on my nerves. I don't know what I think I'm on chapter 8, and she's just gotten back from Rhysand, like the first week that she spent at Rhysand's court and stuff, and like, love Rhysand. He basically training her to fight in this war that's coming, and he can see into her mind, so he knows what's going on, and he's basically saying to her like, do you not see how Tamlin and I forgot the other woman's name, but Tamlin and that woman are using you as like a trophy for like fighting against Amartha, and like you're basically just their trophy, and the whole wedding's just that. It's just like him getting a trophy, and that for the rest of your life you're going to be expected to just sit on the side like a good lady and just like be his wife and do this and do that and stuff. And basically he says what he wants for her is that he thinks that she has like these really important powers that could be helped in the war, and he says he wants to train her to use those powers because he feels like she's really powerful, and that he basically said that she shouldn't be made to hide those powers just so that Tamlin doesn't feel like a lesser man, or so that Tamlin doesn't look like a lesser man. She shouldn't have to not work those powers so he doesn't feel like a lesser man, and that he wants to train her. And basically later, earlier in the book, Tamlin said that there's no high priestess, no high ladies, and that being a high lady is not a thing. You can be like a priestess, but you can't be a high lady. And then Rysand says, you'll find out soon enough, but there can be a thing as high ladies, and basically he thinks that she can become a high lady. And basically she's back home now, and they're doing this like offering, basically, where they come and offer things to Tamlin, and it's kind of like money, like offering their things to him. And basically this one woman, mermaid thing, she comes in and she says, I have nothing to offer. This like, I've no food in the lake. I have no food. I could, like, she's basically starving, so how's she supposed to like give food to him if she's starving herself? And then he's basically just like really rude. He's like, okay, well, you have 3 days, and that's the end of. You have 3 days. I don't care, basically. She's like, I don't care. You've got 3 days, or you have to pay double next month. She's like, I don't have anything, and I'm starving myself. I don't have any food. I don't have any fish. And then obviously Feyre's like, why couldn't you just like let her off? Because 3 days isn't gonna make a difference. She's starving herself, and Feyre's gone through this like at her home. She like used to be poor. It's like she's starving herself. Why couldn't you just let her off? And then he says, because that's the way it is. That's the way my father did it, and his father, and the way my son shall do it. I'm like, that just pisses me off. He's just like, oh, that's just the way it is. It's the way it's always been done. Oh, okay, so things can't change. You can't change things. Okay, cool. And basically she brought up her powers and how she wants to train for the war, and she wants to like be involved in the war and be involved more politically. And he's like, no, because he doesn't want her to get hurt, and he doesn't want other people to find out about her potential powers because it could be dangerous for her if people find out how powerful she is. But she's like, no, but I want to fight. I want to help. I don't want to just sit idly by like a housewife, basically. That's what he's treating her like for this whole thing, a housewife. And just like watch everybody that I care for. I want to help. And he's like, no, not allowing it. End of conversation. Don't worry, I'm here. I can keep you safe. He literally said, well, you don't need to train because I'm here to take care of you. Like, just like such an old-fashioned way of thinking. And I can totally get why people don't like him, because he's really starting to piss me off. And just aggravating. Why? Basically, she just said we could still help find some way to keep the pond stocked and like give her some food. And then he said, oh, well, we have enough to deal with as it is. Giving handouts won't help her in the long run. Okay, it's official. Hate him, please. At this point, he would have already been gone for me. Like, no, she cannot continue to like still be with him and be in love with him after that. Like, I'm sorry, no, he has to go, like right now. Do you know what I love about Rhysand? So Tamlin's like gone all day, and they like barely see each other because he's like doing stuff that he won't tell her about, even though she says she wants to know. And now she's back at the night court for like her second week with him, and he's like, oh, have breakfast with me. And then she's like, oh, but don't you have like other things to do and to deal with? And he's like, of course I do. He's like, of course I do, but I'll always make time for you. And I'm like, you see, that's the energy that Tamlin should be giving. That's the energy that Tamlin should be giving. Just saying. Just saying. Alright guys, so I'm on chapter 14. I'm going to take a break for the night. I think I'm going to be going off to sleep. I just wanted to update that I'm on chapter 14, and I hope that Feyre is finally done with Tamlin, because I'm honestly fully done with him if I wasn't before. Basically, obviously he's just keeping he's keeping her in the house. She doesn't want to be in the house. She feels trapped in the house. Obviously, she's been traumatized. She's got post-traumatic stress from being trapped in a house because she was trapped on the mountain with her Martha and being trapped in the cage and stuff like that. Tamlin doesn't let her go anywhere, doesn't let her do anything. She's expressed that she doesn't like it. She feels like she's got nothing to do. She's bored. She wants to do something. She wants to help in the war, and he always just says no, 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 because he wants to protect her. It's all coming out of love from his side. It's not like he hates her. He's just locking her up on purpose. It is coming out of love, but he thinks of her as like this fragile little thing that needs to be protected. And oh, I have to protect her. I have to protect her. I have to be the protector. And it's just really annoying. Like, she can protect herself. Like, I hate this damsel in distress thing that he's trying to do, like this whole damsel in distress. Like, she's not a damsel in distress. She can handle herself. She's got her own powers now. Like, it's really annoying me. It's really annoying. And then basically he was leaving and she got fed up with it and she said, take me with you, please. Like, please, I want to help. Just take me with you. And he was like, no, no. And she's like, well, I'm going to go anyway, whether you say yes or no, which it's her freaking right. She can do what she wants. If she wants to go, she can go. But he was like, no, you're not. And he basically put a shield around the whole house so she couldn't leave. So he basically locked her up in the house so she couldn't leave. And she had like a sort of panic attack. She had a panic or anxiety attack from being locked up because, as we mentioned, she was locked up under the mountain. So obviously she had some PTSD panic attack from that. And it really bothers me how he didn't foresee that happening. He knows what she went through under the mountain. He saw it for himself, what she went through being under the mountain, being in that confined space, being trapped. She's also, before that, even if you didn't know, before that, she said, I don't like being trapped. I don't like feeling like I'm trapped. God's following me everywhere. So he knew that she didn't like feeling trapped or being trapped in a place. And yet he literally locked her in the house without no way of escape, causing her to have a panic attack. Like, why would you do that to someone that you love? Even if you're trying to protect them. Like, at that point, it pisses me off. But anyway, after that, Rhysand, he felt the panic attack through the bond, so he made Mor come to get her. Which, I'm like, Rhysand, I just love him so much. He made Mor to come to get her, and she's now at the night court, and he's basically like, because he's early to pick her up, he just came to pick her up because she needed a saving. And she's now at the night court, and he says, you can stay for as long as you want. But since this is not to do with our bargain, and it's like on a different date, you can stay for as long as you want. You're at your own free will. Do whatever you want. And then he's going out to some place for business. And before he was about to leave, she was like, oh, take me with you. And she was expecting him to say no, because that's what Tamlin always says, even when she says please and everything. And you know what Tamlin did? He took her with her. He said, yes, okay, I'll take you with. Thank you. Okay. And to be honest, this love triangle of sorts reminds me so much of the Stefan and Delena love triangle. I don't want to get too much into it because that's not what this video is about, but it reminds me so much of that love triangle, and it reminds me so much of why I love Delena over Stelena. To me, Tamlin and Feyre being together, and Tamlin giving off Stefan vibes. Very much Stefan vibes. Damsel in distress. You can't do this. You can't do that. I need to protect you. Like, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Rhysand and her, it's more like Delena energy, where like, it's more like Delena energy, where it's not like he doesn't care if she dies, and she's like, oh, the reason why he's not protective is because, oh, he just doesn't care if she dies. He is protective. He does care about her. It's just that he understands that she's an independent woman and she's not a freaking damsel in distress that needs to be saved, especially since she's like a high lord. So it's not a thing of Stefan's like, I want to protect you because he loves you, and then he just doesn't care. He does care, but it's more of they're fighting side by side. That's what I like gather from it. Like the Stelena Tamlin relationship, it's more I'm the protector, I'm the man, I'm gonna protect you, I'm the man, I'm gonna do this. Whereas the Delena Rhysand, it's more we fight side by side, it's equal, I'm going to teach you how to do this. We're going to fight side by side. I know that you can take care of yourself. I know that you're independent, so let's do it. I'm still gonna always protect you. He's always gonna protect her and save her and everything like that. But he recognizes that she has powers of her own. She can take care of herself. She doesn't need to always be protected by someone else. She can take care of herself. And they fight side by side. It's not a thing of I'm gonna protect you. It's no like I'm gonna show you how to protect yourself. I'm not gonna protect you. I'm gonna He's obviously going to protect her, but he's going to show her he's going to show her how to protect herself. That's what I'm trying to get at. Whereas Tamlin won't even teach her how to use her powers because he's scared that people will find her and take her. He won't even teach her how to use her powers. Whereas Rhysand's like, no, I want to teach you how to use your powers. It's more like, I want to teach you how to protect yourself so you don't have to rely on other people to protect you in the future. You can protect yourself. You don't have to rely on other people. You don't have to rely on them, blah, blah. You can do whatever you need to do, which is also the reason why he's giving her, like, reading lessons, which I think is so sweet, because I'm pretty sure, like, the first week she came over, he was like, I'm going to teach you how to read, and I'm going to teach you how to put your shields up. And she was like, oh, why? Like, why do you even care? And he's like, because, like, in the first book, right, her ability to not read kind of like set her back and so with dealing with the master and stuff like that. And he was like, because you need to learn how to read so you can like protect yourself, so you don't have to rely on other people for stuff. So he's basically teaching her how to learn how to read and how to learn how to put the shields up in her mind so that she doesn't have to rely on other people to protect her, so that she can take care and protect herself. And she's like, yeah, so you don't have to rely on other people. And I just hate it whenever, like, she's like, oh, please teach me how to fight, Tamlin. And he's just like, why do you need to learn how to fight? I'm here. Like, okay then, big strong man. Okay, I get it. You're going to save the day. But it aggravates me. Just like, just why? So right now she decided to stay at the night court because she's obviously very mad at Tamlin for locking her up. I think this is like the first heated thing that got into. And also Tamlin has very big temper tantrums. Like, he once destroyed an entire office and like turned into like he shapeshifted into that beast and destroyed the entire office while she was in the room, and she basically had to put a shield up to protect herself or else she would have gotten hurt and stuff. And because he had a temper tantrum of her telling her, she was telling him her feelings. He was basically saying, this is how you're making me feel. You're making me feel like I'm drowning. You're making me feel trapped. And he had a temper tantrum and started being like, oh, because he was upset about how she was making him feel. And then it became about him having a temper tantrum and him being upset. Like, great. So she tried to tell you how you feel, you threw a temper tantrum, and now it's about you. Okay, that's great. So it didn't solve anything, because now we're back on you. And it pissed me off. And then he agreed to, like, relax the things for about a week, and then he didn't relax them. I honestly also don't get what he has against Rhysand, because him and Rhysand have, like, they're enemies, but I don't understand why they're enemies, really. I don't know if I missed that in the first book. I don't know if I missed the reason of why they were enemies in the first book. I honestly can't remember why they're enemies, but all I know is that they are enemies for some reason. It seems like Tamlin hates Rhysand more than Rhysand really hates Tamlin. I feel like Rhysand's just the more chill person. He's not throwing temper tantrums like a freaking 5-year-old. Like, literally, he acts like he's a 5-year-old, and it makes me so mad. But yeah, hopefully she doesn't return to the mansion, and hopefully, actually, I kind of want to see her tell Tamlin that she doesn't want to go back. Like, I want to obviously not see, but I want to read and see his reaction to him realizing that Rhysand didn't take her away. Rhysand didn't kidnap her. She left and stayed at the night court of her own volition, and that she doesn't want to come back to the spring court because of what he did to her. I want to see how that goes down. I want to see what he says, because I'm living for that. I'm living for him to see the consequences of his actions, and that, yeah, I'm living for that. I can't wait to find that out. And that's I can't wait to see that, and then I don't want to see him anymore in this book, because he's severely aggravating me, and I'm only on chapter 14. There's like 60 something chapters in this book, like 69 chapters, I think, and he's already aggravating me. So, one, I want to see that scene of her telling Tamlin, I'm done with you, this and this and this. I left of my own volition. No one made me go anywhere, because that's probably what it's going to be. He's probably going to think that Rhysand kidnapped her off her without consent and stuff like that. I want to see her say, no, you screwed up. That's the reason why I left. I do not want to be with you. I want to see that scene, and then I want him to be eradicated from the book, and I never want to hear about him ever again, because he's annoying me. But I'm pretty sure that's not how it's going to go down. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in it for the rest of the book. But I can very well see why people hate Tamlin. It's just, in the book, he was vanilla, and there wasn't any problems. He was just vanilla. He was sweet. But in this book, he's just a bit of a mean person. He's a dick, basically, in this book. Gotta say it. Just saying. And yeah, nope. Sorry. Like, I can't with him anymore. I just can't. And I don't even think this is the worst of it, because when people act or react to him, they always say, like, I've seen people react to him and be like really, really angry and furious at him. I mean, I'm angry and furious at him now, but I think he has to do more things throughout this book, because this can't be the only thing that he does. I'm pretty sure he's going to do more things in this book that frustrate me. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards him even potentially being one of the bad guys or enemies in the future that we have to fight, because right now he seems to be losing it a bit. Like, I feel like Tamlin is a character that can very well benefit from some therapy, and obviously Feyre too, but at least Feyre acknowledges that. Feyre knows something's wrong, whereas Tamlin's just trying to push it down and act like he's fine. He doesn't have any PTSD, he doesn't have any unresolved issues, he's completely fine. Whereas Feyre's like, no, like, you're not okay. But yeah, he keeps telling her that, oh, you're not okay, without acknowledging that he's also not okay. So I feel like, I don't know, at some point in this book, he is going to, like, crack. I feel like he's under so much pressure, and I don't know what's going on inside his head, because we don't have his POV, but I feel like at some point in this series, in this book, something's gonna snap in him. And I think because there's been many moments in the first book and the second book now where you've gotten to know about his rage. They keep bringing it up, his rage. He gets these moments of rage where he gets really, really angry. He gets really, really angry, and he shifts into that beast. They've mentioned that loads of times. I think that's going to come into play at some point. I feel like at some point he's going to completely snap and then just lose all his senses and then just go into a full fit. And I do think at some point he's gonna, I don't know why, but he's giving me vibes right now as he could potentially become evil, if you get what I mean. Like, right now, the bad guy is King Hubrian, or I'm gonna call him King H, because I don't know his name. I just know it starts with an H and I can't bother to spell it. But the king of the land, King H, whatever. Right now he's the bad guy, but I feel like Tamlin at some points during the other books could definitely turn into an evil character. Like, he could be a good character at the start, but I feel like he could definitely turn into an evil character, especially with the way he's treating people, like the way he treated that mermaid creature, the way he treated that creature that didn't have enough money, didn't even have enough food, and he was basically like, well, I don't care, you have 3 days to bring me my money, or if you don't bring my money, then you have to pay me double the next time. And he didn't even address the fact that she has no food. He was like, oh, you have no food? Cool, I don't care. And she lives, like, right around the corner from his house. She basically lives in his pond. And she's like, you have no food? Cool. And she's like, I don't have any food. And she's like, don't care. Bring me money. bring me my money. Even though he's super rich, he's got a whole mansion and golds and bunch of expensive stuff in his house. He's still like, no, you need to bring me the money, and I don't care if you don't have any food. And when she brought it up, like, she was like, okay, well, I understand that you can't let her off about the money thing, because he said, if I let her off, then I have to let everybody else off, and then everybody else is going to ask for the same thing, which completely get. You can't give something to someone without other people expecting that same thing for them. Completely get that. But then she said, okay, I get that, but can't you refill her pond or something? Give her food? You don't need to take the money. She still could, like, pay, but couldn't you give her food? Like, you are the king of this land. Shouldn't you treat your residents with respect? Make sure they're fed, make sure they're, like, clothed and not starving. Like, that's what you do. If you're, like, the king of a country, you make sure that people aren't starving, right? And he was like, oh, I just can't. His response was basically like, it's not important right now. He says, oh, he said, I think I've got, like, too much to deal with right now. That's not of importance right now, and basically we'll get to it another time. And he just didn't care that she had no food and that she was starving herself. And Feyre had to go give her own jewels to her so she could buy something for herself. And it pissed me off. It pissed me off so much. Because he just, like, didn't care. That's what I mean by I feel like he's got some evil in him. That's what I mean by, like, I can see him in later books becoming an evil character and us having to fight him. Because he's like, I don't know. That's probably not going to happen, but I can see that happening. I don't know. I personally feel like I can see that happening. And maybe that's the reason why everybody hates him so much. Because maybe in the later books he turns out evil. But I could definitely see him turning out evil. I can see that, like, in the near future, whether it's right or not. He definitely has the capacity, at least, and I'm seeing that now. This foreshadowing with the rage, with the way he treats his people in his realm, the way he treats them, and his rage. Definitely see him being, like, an evil dictator king, like, not king, High Lord, being an evil dictator High Lord. Definitely see that, without a doubt. So yeah, gonna go in for the night. Really upset me. This is reminding me so bad of the Vampire Diaries with Damon and, like, the love triangle. It's like the Vampire Diaries, but make it fae and fairies instead of the Vampire Diaries. It's like fae and fairies, and that's it. It's like, yeah, that's basically it. Vampire Diaries mixed with fae and fairies, and, like, the whole love triangle. This is, to be honest, ever since I've watched the Vampire Diaries, I've been looking for a book that gives me the same feeling of that love triangle, because I loved that love triangle, and I've been looking for a book that gives me that same feeling, that same vibe, and not one book has come close except for this book. This book is the only book that's come close to giving me that Vampire Diaries love triangle feeling, even though it's not really a love triangle. I don't know, it is a love triangle though, because she's with Tamlin, and now I don't mind me saying, but I think she's going to get with Rhysand. And if she does get with Rhysand, I obviously haven't read the rest of the books, but you guys have. If you're watching this, you've read the rest of the books. So if she does get with Rhysand, this is the love triangle book. But no one ever mentioned anything about it being a love triangle. And I'm like, that's a very important trope. How come no one has ever said there's a love triangle in this? Like, that is a very important trope to leave out. And I would have 100% read this series sooner if I knew it was a love triangle. If I knew this was a love triangle, I would have already read it. I would have already binged it, no doubt. And if you're watching this now, for some reason, and you haven't read the series, it definitely feels like Damon and Elena. Like, it really does. So if you're looking for something that, yeah, just, I'm loving it. Hi guys. Have I updated? No, I have not updated. It's been like a week. I feel like I've been in like a week-long reading slump. I'm still very much enjoying the book. Don't get it twisted. It's just that this week has been very busy, and like I said, I do work and I also go to uni, and I'm currently doing my assignments. Like, it's like sort of assignment week for me right now. I'll pick up the book, and I did pick it up. Is this like way too close right now? Yeah, it probably is. Let me fix that. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So yeah, I picked up the book, I'm currently on chapter 40, I think. I'm on the part where they have to go to the night court in Hune City, and basically he has to like pretend to be like the super bad High Lord, and she has to basically pretend to like be his mistress or whatever. And oh my god, I'm at the part where they're sitting on the throne right now, and she's like on his lap on the throne, and he's like doing all this stuff to her, and he pulled on her ear with his teeth. And I'm on that part right now. And yeah, I just remember when I started reading this, I just remembered why I loved this book so much. I could definitely see this book being a 5 stars, depending on like how the ending. I don't have that much left to read. It's definitely a 4 stars. Like, I don't know if it's giving me the 5-star feeling right now. It's definitely gonna be a 4 stars though. But we'll have to see how it ends to see if it gives me that 5-star feeling. I will have to say, I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star. Right now, I'm going to predict it's a 4-star. Just because at the start of this book, there was a lot, I feel, of info dumping. And people have said this before with Sarah J. Maas as well. Many people have said that she does a lot of info dumping, especially in her Crescent City books. She does a lot of info dumping, and I think those are like the biggest books that she's wrote. The Crescent City, they're like huge, and there's like lots of info dumping in that. And like the start of this just had like loads of info dumping. I literally sometimes had to stop reading the book and look up on my phone these things because I was just very confused on how they worked. They were like info dumped, and I feel like I wasn't focusing as much, so when she was talking about them, I was very confused, and I had to look it up on my phone and like read it like 3 times to get the politics of this world and like get the whole thing about the fairy war. You also have to understand that I read the first book like ages ago, and I didn't want to reread that, so I just read a summary of the first book, but I did like miss some stuff. So like when she was just talking about the fairy wars and stuff like that, it's just like very hard for me to like remember everything that's going on. I'm just so confused sometimes. But we sort of gotten past the info dumping part. I feel like I know a little bit more of what's going on. I know what's happening now, so I think we're okay with that. But yeah, you do have to deal with a little bit of info dumping in this book, which is like, I don't know, but so far I am liking it. I am going to update when I get to chapter 55 because I do know what chapter 55 is, and I can't wait for chapter 55, and I just want her and Risan to get together. This is just like, it's amazing. And I'm currently on chapter 40, like 41 or something. It's either 40 or 41. And when I get, I'm going to try and get to chapter 55 right now. I do have work tomorrow, and it is very, very, it's not very late. It's like 7 o'clock. And I will be going to bed soon, but I'm going to try and get to chapter 55 before I go to bed. If I have any more updates, I'll update. But if not, I'll just see you at chapter 55 because I want to film my reaction to reading that, because that's like the most famous chapter in this whole freaking series is chapter 55. And yeah. So, basically I'll see you in the next clip, which will be me either updating on something. If I find anything interesting, I'll update. But if not, I'll just see you at chapter 55. I can't with this book, guys. She just said, like, I have to read you this quote. She just, basically, she said into his mind and stuff, like, while they're on the throne, you are good, Reese. You are kind. This mask does not scare me. I see you beneath it. His hands tightened on me, and his eyes held mine as he leaned forward to brush his mouth against my cheek. It was answer enough and an unleashing. And then, like, he kissed her on the cheek as, like, a sign of, like, thank you. I'm like, I'm loving this book. I literally don't understand. Reese, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. And I'm so glad Tamlin is gone. Like, this is the energy we needed in the first book. And honestly, when I read the first book, I was very upset with it. I rated it 3 stars because I was not understanding. I was like, I thought this was a romance. Like, where's the romance? It's not giving romance. This was supposed to be like a big fantasy romance. And I know it was only the first book, but I was like confused because I thought he was the romance. Now I feel like I get why Sarah J Maas didn't put that much into the romance between Tamlin and Feyre. Because I feel like the reason why she didn't put that much romance into the first book is because she didn't want us, the audience, to get too invested into Tamlin and Feyre, because she knew that in the second book she was going to be basically... She knew that in the second book she was basically going to give her a new love interest, which is a new love interest, and her true love interest, Rhysand. And she didn't want people to be too obsessed with Tamlin. And when I said earlier, I didn't know this book was a love triangle, this book truly is not a love triangle. It's not a love triangle because there was no competition. This isn't a love triangle. Tamlin, he was never up there. He was never competition. He was never even in the story. That's why I was very confused, but I feel like she did that because she didn't want people to get too invested in that, because we were going to get Rhysand in this book. So yeah, it's not a love triangle. It's literally just the romance of Rhysand and Feyre, because Tamlin and Feyre lasted, one book? And when I was reading this book and they were talking about engagement, I was like, excuse me? What? You've been a couple for like one book. What do you mean engagement? And I was so confused on how everybody loved this couple, or if everybody even loved this couple, because I'm like, what? I'm just confused. But now I get it. It was never them. It was never them. It was never him. It was always Rhysand. This isn't a love triangle. It's not a competition. He's won. Like, the minute he showed up in the first book, he's won. It's him. And I just have a feeling for that. I don't know why. I feel like I'm a psychic, because this happened in the Vampire Diaries. As soon as I saw the first episode of the Vampire Diaries and Damon showed up and he was all like, hello, brother, I was like, that's him. He's won. Him and Elena, ship it. They have to get together. It's just perfect. I can see it. I can see them together. I don't care about Stefan and Elena. Don't care. It's them. Yeah? Coming. And I felt the exact same way reading this. I literally felt like, I was like, I honestly don't care about this couple. And then Rhysand showed up and I was like, it's him. He's giving me the vibes. This is giving me the vibes that it's going to be him. It's giving me the vibes that at the end of the story, she's going to end up with Rhysand. It's just like something. I can feel the connection. They met for like a second. Her and Rhysand met for a second and I was already like, it's them. It's them. I can already feel the palpable connection between them two. I can feel it already before the bond. Like before they even had that stupid bond with the tattoo, I was like, I knew it. I knew. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat now and then probably read more until chapter 55. So yeah, I'll update this later when I actually get to chapter 55 this time. Just when I thought I couldn't hate Tamlin even more, I just find out that Tamlin helped and killed his mother and sister after Rhysand had befriended Tamlin and like took pity on him because Tamlin reminded of him and taught him some techniques and living techniques, and Rhysand told him where his mother and his sister were going to be. Tamlin told his father, who his father was like trying to prove that he wasn't weak, because his father didn't like Rhysand and he was trying to prove to Rhysand that he wasn't weak. So he told his father where they were, and his father and his brothers and him killed his mother and his sister. And then Rhysand killed his brothers and his father. Rhysand's father killed his mother, and then just as Rhysand was trying to stop his father from killing Tamlin as well, because he didn't want to kill any more people, Tamlin killed Rhysand's father. What in the actual heck? I have no sympathy for Tamlin right now. Zero sympathy. And Tamlin didn't tell her any of this. The only thing he said about his family was that a rival court was the one who killed his family. Didn't say anything. And I love how Rhysand is just so truthful with her. Like, he'll tell her the truth. Like, you asked a question, here's the truth. And Tamlin's like, oh no. He didn't tell her any of this. Oh, I hate him so much. I can't deal with him. I just don't want to. I hope he's not in any more books. I hope this is the last we hear of Tamlin and that he's not in any more books, because I can't deal with him. I just hate him. Every new information about him just makes me so mad. Tamlin needs to get a grip, because he's literally sounding a bit possessive now. As I just said in the last clip, I hope that Tamlin just stays away and that I don't have to see or hear from him ever again. Lucian, Tamlin's whatever, showed up with a couple warriors and stuff to bring her back to the court. I'm like, did Tamlin not get her note? Like, she sent a note to Tamlin saying, don't come looking for me, I left by my own choice, I'm not kidnapped, I wanted to leave, and I'm happy where I am, stay away. And Tamlin's still like, oh no, she'll come home one day, she doesn't want to be there, she'll come home one day. I'm like, what? And then Lucian had the audacity to say, oh, is he like controlling your mind? Is he controlling your mind or something? Is that what's going on? And I'm like, but then I love Feyre. Her clap back to Lucian, how she was talking to him. She was basically like, she's basically like, I'm done being some High Lord's pet. She's like, tell Lucian that if any other spring warriors step foot into this land, they will all step foot into this land. I will hunt each and every one of them down. And I'm like, yes, Feyre, that is what we need. And I'm like, love. But yeah, love her. I think I'm gonna take a break and go eat something now. But yeah, love her so much. I'm loving this. And then she grew wings because she used her shape-shifting powers to grow wings, to show that she now has control of her powers, because Lucian and Tamlin never let her use or control her powers. So she grew wings to show that she has like control of her powers. And then Rhysand said, oh, you look good in wings. And I'm like, so yeah, I love this book. This is gonna be like the next one. But yeah, we finished A Court of Mist and Fury. Wow. As you know, I hate Tamlin, and I can tell that in the third book. We're basically back at where we started. The only thing different is that obviously Feyre is different and her relationship with Rhysand, but we're back where we started now. She's back with Tamlin, but she's sort of going to be a spy now for Rhysand, because they don't know that he didn't actually destroy the bond, that the bond is still there. It's just like a muted sort of, so the bond is still there, but they don't know that. And so she's back with Tamlin, and she's going to be a sort of spy for him, and she's going to try and take down Jurian and the King of Highburn. And I don't think we ever even got his name. They just call him the King of Highburn. I don't know if that's his name, but they just call, I think that's just what they call him. I didn't pick up his name. But yeah, because the King of Highburn is now going to be, because Tamlin basically made a deal with him that he would help him get into Prythian, and that he could use his land as basically like a base camp to run his operations if he got Feyre back. So they're going to be there at the Spring Court, which means that she'll be able to spy on them, know all what they're doing, and like know all about their plans, so she can report it back to Rhysand using the bond, so then they can like help, so they can like know what to do. And I'm assuming the next book is about them going to war. And we also got Rhysand's point of view towards the end there, and it was amazing. I do have some quotes that I want to talk about in this book, which I absolutely loved. So I'm gonna talk. I named some only a bit, so I want to talk about the quotes. Obviously, the most famous quote I think is "To the stars who listen, and to the dreams that are answered. What did the tattooed stars and mountains on your knees mean? That I will bow before no one and nothing but my crown." And I'm like, wow, that quote just really got, that quote really got to me. And looking back at it now that I finished the book, it means so much more, because as you know, in the end, they made Feyre the queen of the Night Court, so she's now High Lady of the Night Court, which Tamlin said that there's been no High Ladies. Like, High Lady, it's not common. There's only High Lords, but he made her High Lady, so she's basically queen to his king. And he says in this chapter, "I will bow before no one and nothing but my crown." And technically she's the crown now, because she's the king. So I was like, wow, the foreshadowing that I will bow before no one but my crown. And then says, "You are good, Rhys. You are kind. This mask does not scare me. I see you beneath it." His hands tightened on me, and his eyes held mine as he leaned forward to brush his mouth against my cheek. It was answer enough and an unleashing, which I thought was a really awesome, nice quote. And then these last few quotes, these chapters, when he basically made her the High Lady. "Feyre is High Lady of the Night Court, my equal in every way. She would wear my crown, sit on the throne beside mine, never sidelined, never designed to breeding, never designated, to breeding and parties and child rearing, my queen." And I'm like, yes, we love Rhysand, because it's the exact opposite of what Tamlin's doing. He's basically making a housewife like, oh yeah, you're gonna do the parties as a child, whatever. And in the last chapter, love was a balm as much as it was a poison, which was a quote by Feyre, actually. So yeah, finished A Court of Mist and Fury. I have made a rating, but usually my ratings change. Like, when I finish this video, I might decide that I thought about the book way too much and I might up the rating, or I might be like, looking back on it, it wasn't, I liked it, but I didn't like it that much, so I might put the rating down. But that's why I'm not saying the ratings right now, because my opinion of the ratings could change. So when I finish all the books, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the ratings that I put, and then if I agree with that rating, I'll obviously keep it at that. But if I feel like I need to change it, then I'll just tell you what I first rated it as and what I'm changing it to. And we are now going to the next book, which is A Court of Wings and Ruin. And yeah, then we've got 2 more books after this, and I can't believe that. I can't believe we've got 2 more books. Oh yeah, and I was kind of confused because I knew that Nesta and her sisters were a very big part of the story, but I didn't know how. They were a big part in the book, but they weren't that mentioned in the book. So I was like, how are they gonna like join the fairies? Because they don't even like fairies. But yeah, now I see how that's gonna play out, because they've been turned into fairies. by the king. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And about freaking Elaine being I forgot his name, but Elaine being mated. I'm like, okay, how's that gonna work? Because we obviously don't like him. He's a bad guy, unless he turns into a good guy in this book. I don't know, maybe. But yes. I'm so excited to read this. Oh my god. Are we getting Rhysand's POV in this? Or is it just the first chapter? I think it's just the first chapter. I don't think... No, I think we don't get... I was thinking for a minute that we were going to get Rhys's POV throughout the whole... and like a dual POV situation. But no, I don't think so. The first thing I do whenever I start a book is see how many chapters it has. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the rest of it. I've decided I want to read like the whole Massverse now. I'm just seeing how many chapters this has. 82 chapters. Jeez. It kind of has dual POV, I think, because at the start it's Rhysand's POV. And then I think at the start and end it's got dual POV. Because we just got Rhysand's POV at the start. So I don't know. It's got 82 chapters. The last chapter had 69, so that's like... yeah. I read mainly... The last book I read it mainly on Audible and on ebook. I didn't really read it physically. The only reason why I didn't read it physically is because look at this. It's literally a brick. And like it's so hard to hold up. You have to like really crack the spine, and if you care about cracking the spine, just know that I don't really care about it. And I will. Viewer disclaimer or whatever is like happening. Turn away if you're like triggered by this or something. But I read the last 5 chapters physically, as you saw in the last few clips, because it was easy to hold into his last few chapters. But like when you're at the start of the book, or when you're at the start of the book, it's so hard to read because let's say you're on chapter 1, you're literally holding all these pages with a couple fingers. If you're in the middle of the book, it's not that bad, but it's still like a lot. Whereas if you're at the last couple pages, it's much easier to read. So I did read the last 5 chapters like that. And I like floppy books. Floppy books are, honestly, I wish every single book was floppy, to be honest. So, yeah. I'm definitely going to be starting this at some point today. I do have things to do because I do want to do my nails, and then I do need to do some assignments. My computer's just currently charging, so I can't do them now. And since I can't do my assignments now, I'm planning on just doing my nails, maybe. I don't think I have any credits yet for this book. If I did, I'd read it on audiobook while doing my nails, but I don't know. I don't think I have any credits for that. But I will definitely be starting this today. Most likely, 100% will be starting this today. But yeah, so the next clip will probably be me starting this book. I'm so excited. I can't wait to... Oh my god, I'm just obsessed with this series. I can't... The second book definitely made me absolutely obsessed. There's no way that I'm not going to continue the series. I'm definitely going to continue it, because like, how could you not? I can't just be left on that cliffhanger. I need to know more. So yeah, I've got this book, and then I've got the novella, and then the last book, which is in Nesta's POV, so that would be interesting. And yeah, a lot of people don't like Nesta. To be honest, I don't really dislike her. Of course, the way she treated Feyre was like wrong, but the way she like loves Elaine, very heartwarming. And like, I kind of warmed up to her already in the second book. So yeah, but we've got this book. So let's see how long it's going to take us to read this, shall we? See you in the next clip when I start the book.